Hello everyone, I am Nirmal Sarkar from UnPencil.com, and today let's talk about the world's first genetically modified organism or GMO. The story begins on February 19th, 1967. A huge oil tanker from Kuwait's Al Ahmadi oil refinery set sail for Wales with crude oil. At the time, it was the world's largest supertanker, the Tory Canyon. About 118,000 liters of oil was inside that supertanker that day. Exactly 1 month later, on 18th March at 9:30 in the morning, a terrible accident happened while the tourists were crossing the favorite Cornish coast. The bottom of the Tory Canyon collided with a submarine at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Out of the 18 tanks, 14 tanks leaked and the oil started coming out. Within a few days, about 60,000 liters of oil spilled off the Cornish coast. A 10-inch thick layer of oil spread over an area of about 1,000 square kilometers of sea. Not only Britain, the entire world was shocked. People have never seen such a big oil disaster before. At that time, scientists had only one technology to destroy the oil floating in the water: the use of detergent. Using the Navy, about 10,000 tons of detergent was sprayed on the oil floating in the sea. But can all the oil be wasted? The helpless British administration, with the help of the Air Force, dropped powerful bombs on the Tory Canyon to burn the remaining oil in the tanker. Although it was a terrible explosion, the fire didn't last long due to the strong waves of the sea. As a result, more oil came out of the destroyed tank. The 190 kilometers of Cornish coast was severely damaged. About 15,000 seabirds died in 1 week, which soon reached to about 40,000. The ecosystem across a vast area was severely damaged. Well, such a catastrophe can happen again. What will happen? How to mitigate? The world's fastest growing industries turned to scientists to find a way out. At the time, scientists knew a number of bacteria that could eat the oil's hydrocarbons. They are called oil eating bacteria. However, the capacity of a single bacterium is much lower. Again, when different strains of the oil eating bacteria come together, they compete with each other to further reduce the rate of the oil consumption. A young Bengali scientist at that time studied Pseudomonas putida, one such bacteria, and obtained a doctorate from Calcutta University. Pseudomonas putida is a type of soil-dwelling bacterium that breaks down the soil organic matter into sugars and amino acids. His research paper came to the attention of the internationally renowned scientist Dr. Arvind Gonzalez, who actually wrote a letter to the young researcher to work in his laboratory. The researcher arrived at the University of Illinois from Calcutta with a dream in his eyes. And it was there he discovered a wonderful nature of the bacterium. He found that the genes that regulate the whole biochemical reactions to decompose camphor are not in the actual DNA of the bacteria, but in the plasmid. A plasmid is an extra small and circular DNA present in the bacteria, and that's exactly when the Tory Canyon disaster happened. The researcher came to the conclusion that if the genes responsible for the properties of the bacteria that have the ability to eat oil could be identified and determined to be present in the plasmid, a new type of bacterium could emerge by trying to combine those genes. He identified 4 plasmids from different bacterial strains where the oil-eating gene is located. He continued to try combinations of plasmids in a trial and error manner and finally narrowed down to 2 plasmids. This time, using ultraviolet rays, he combined the two types of plasmids into the Pseudomonas putida bacteria to see if the 2 plasmid oil-consuming genes were activated together. Surprisingly, both genes became active. Pseudomonas putida oil-containing adult plasmids were found to be much more adept at degrading oil. As effective as the two genes are in separating oils individually, they were found to be more than twice as effective in the combined state. That's what he wanted. The year was 1971. His laboratory became the first laboratory in the world to create a genetically engineered bacteria. At the same time, the name of the young Bengali scientist was written in the gold letters, Dr. Anand Mohan Chakraborty, known as AL by his scientific colleagues. He named this bacterium multiplasmid hydrocarbon degrading Pseudomonas. This technology is used to absorb oil all over the world even today. But the story doesn't end here but begins. This time, Dr. Chakravarti applied for a patent for that bacterium. On 7th June 1972, he filed an application with the United States Patent Office. This was the first patent application in the world for a genetically modified organism, or GMO. A few days later, a letter came from the patent office. The application was rejected. The reason cited was that there was no law to patent any living organism. Well, that's true. Organisms that exist in the nature cannot be patented. But in this case, he created it artificially inside a laboratory. So it's not a natural organism. Dr. Chakraborty appealed to the US Court of Customs and Patent Appeals. The verdict was in the favor, but the patent commissioner didn't accept the verdict and filed a case in the Supreme Court. Finally, on June 16, 1980, after 8 years, the Apex Court dictated the granting of patents on genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. Dr. Anand Mohan not only won this battle, but also opened the way for patents on GMOs all over the world. He got great acquaintance internationally. Dr. Anand Mohan Chakraborty is a respected name in the world's scientific community for his groundbreaking discovery, genetic cross-linking. He has also contributed to the treatment of modern cancer. His discovery shows that bacteria contain a special protein called azurin, and this protein can prevent the spread of cancer in the human body. This discovery paved the way for chemotherapy, one of the main means of treating cancer. In 2007, the government of India awarded him with the Padma Shri. We lost him on 10th July 2020. So, this was the story of the world's first genetically modified organism. Courtesy to Shomyokanti Jana, West Bengal Science Forum, and Shopon Chen for compiling the facts together. Translated and narrated by me, Nirmal Sarkar, from UnPencil. To join our community for regular scientific and educational updates, visit unpencil.com. Thank you for listening.